Hello everyone and welcome to Ghost Turd Stories. I'm your host Troy Gent. Ghost Turd Stories' mission is using humorous stories from veterans and first responders to reduce the burden of families whose veteran or first responder committed suicide. Ghost Turd Stories' vision is to use humor from veteran and first responder stories to prevent suicide within our ranks and reduce the burden of families whose veteran or first responder committed suicide. We hoped to attract veterans and first responders, as well as those interested in knowing more about what it's like to be in our shoes while we wear or wore those shoes. This is Troy Gent, your host and the creator of Ghost Turd Stories. Today I've got a special guest. His name is Chris Coates. I served with him in 3-7 India Company from 1998 to about 2000. Chris, it's good to talk to you again, as always.
You too.
What's your history with the military? Where did you serve?
I served in 3-7 from 96 to 2000. After I got out of the Corps, I went to college in Rexburg, Idaho, and I joined a little artillery unit. It's 148th FA. It's part of the 116th Brigade Combat Team.
Just so everybody understands, when I say 3-7 and Chris says 3-7, it's 3rd Battalion, 7th Marine Regiment of the 1st Marine Division. What was the dumbest thing you ever did while serving?
There's plenty of them, and all of them were the results of drinking. I got in an altercation with my platoon sergeant. You were there as well. It was our platoon sergeant. And I got a NJP out of that deal, and that was probably the worst thing I did when I was in the Corps. It hurt me on getting promoted to sergeant, amongst other things.
You made it to corporal before you got out?
Yeah, I was a corporal, and then I was eligible for sergeant, and I got in trouble with that. At the tail end, I was scored for sergeant again, but I didn't really pursue it because I was getting out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So I remember one time I was in the barracks. Someone told me, Coates is down at the bowling alley, and he won't listen to anybody. He's been drinking. Will you go down there and see if you can calm him down a little bit? We both were Jack Mormons at different times in our lives, or at least weren't living the standards the church encourages us to live. So I go down there, and you were being a little bit difficult, I guess I should say. I was like, hey, Chris, you got to calm down, dude. You're going to get in trouble. He started pushing on me. He's like, come on, man, I'm going to fight you. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to fight you. You're like, I want to fight. Yeah. Do you remember that?
I don't remember the actual altercation, but I remember that you were telling me about it. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of those, but the example you set for everybody was amazing as far as not drinking and not doing a lot of dumb stuff that we did. I really appreciated that. That really planted a good seed in me and others.
Even in the times when I've been a little less devoted to the standards of a Christian lifestyle, I've never abandoned my desire to continue to go to church and pay my tithing, and been pretty far from perfect many times, but I've kept going to church, and I've always kept trying to stay close to that. I'm really grateful that I could be in positions that I could set a decent example for people. I think at the bowling alley, I tried for a couple minutes, and after I realized that you were just going to keep being a punk, I said, I'm out of here, man. And I went back to the barracks or something. What's the dumbest thing you ever saw someone else do?
Well, there's a few of those I'll touch quickly on. There's this kid, he's always doing kind of stupid stuff. We were breaching doors with a 12 gauge and doing some room clearing and stuff. He was up and he shot the mechanism on the door, and his barrel flew off and hit the door. I was like, what the frick just happened? We stopped the whole thing. I was like, what the frick are you doing?
So the round went off, but it just shot the barrel off at the same time?
Yeah, the barrel came off with it, but it was just like, how in the freak do you do that, or how? But I guess he was cleaning it, and he didn't tighten that nut on all the way on the end. But the same kid, he ran into stuff like that all the time. It just drove me crazy. But we were doing combatives, and we were doing boxing, And he had this kid that I couldn't stand either. I wanted him to actually do good against this kid because I couldn't stand the kid. But when he punched, it's like he slapped with a boxing glove, slapped like a girl, you know? I've never seen anything like that in my life, but he had smacked the kid with an opened boxing glove and smack him like a girl. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be bad. So this other kid just wailing on him. And I'm like, you need to stop. You're going to get hurt. You need to stop. Just let's call it a day. But everybody else was cheering it on and getting it hyped up. And that kid I'm talking about, he walked right into a really hard punch. It just smashed his nose. He actually picked this piece of blood out of his nose, and it was a long piece of cartilage came out. Oh, my gosh. I was like, you should have listened when I told you to freaking stop. But
Was this in the Marines or the National Guard?
this was National Guard, Fort Bliss, Texas. There was a kid, we were over in Iraq, and he randomly took out his 9mm and started shooting into a flock of sheep. And I was like, what the heck are you doing?
What was he doing?
I don't know. He just,
Did he get in trouble for that, or?
from me, he did, but no, I didn't write him up or anything. I was one of the team chiefs, and I yelled at him, but everybody else thought it was funny, I guess.
Do you remember that run we did in Guam? Well, everybody went out drinking the night before, even platoon commander. He took us on a run, and we ran about 7 miles down to that beach.
I believe so. Is that when everybody's dehydrated and...
Yeah, let's see. We had a broken ankle, I think. Several people puked. And then there was one Marine with us. He managed to save his bowels till the bathroom on the beach, but there was no toilet paper in the bathroom. And he came out of the bathroom without a shirt on. The platoon commander and platoon sergeant were like, "Where's your shirt at?" He's like, "I didn't have any toilet paper, so I had to use my shirt."
Everybody felt sorry for 3rd Platoon because he was always thrashing us for doing something.
I came in 2 years after you, so I was actually your subordinate. But the fact that we were both Mormons, we made a connection, and after work hours, we were more friends than anything else. One of the boots, they told him to get out there and call formation, and he gets up there, and our lieutenant's this recon guy. He gets out there, he starts calling formation. He says, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star, who's that boot with a golden bar?"
Yeah, that was a good one.
He trashed us for that. Oh, man. Did you ever see anyone sneak contraband or ban stuff and get caught and made an example of?
I remember the whole Marine base getting shut down for a frag grenade that got taken from out in the field. It was missing. They shut the whole Marine base down for that, and then it ended up on the pool table in the duty NCO hut. That was a pretty funny deal.
Thank you for listening. Please tell your friends and family so that we can bring more joy and awareness to those struggling with suicide ideation and the families who desperately need help after the loss of someone they love to suicide.